Wow, thank you.
Just by coincidence, you said cookies, and I'm like, oh yes, I can do that.
Yeah. Hey, haystack, is that what it is?
It's Special K cereal, peanut butter, and Karo syrup. It's a non-bake cookie. Yeah. Yeah. Just by coincidence. I do not have
Thank you.
Agenda.
We're jealous out here in Zoom land.
You should be.
And rightly so. Pretty nice. Okay, can we get going?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, we will open the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We have a special guest with us, Becky Newton, of the he's going to be presenting the Economic Development Strategic Plan for the City of Lakewood, correct? And rather than move forward with the nuts and bolts of our business, I'm going to turn it over to Becky. And Becky, if you would just share a little bit about yourself before you move into your presentation, that'd be wonderful.
Sure, absolutely. I'm getting a sunlight coming through the window, so that's nice to see. Hi, my name is Becky Newton, and I'm the Economic Development Manager for the City of Lakewood. I've been here for about 10 years. Previous to that, I worked for Kitsap Economic Development Alliance for about 8 years. So I've been doing economic development for a while now. Lived in the Pacific Northwest all my life and went to UW, but and live in Lakewood now. So glad to be with all of you. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, hopefully here. Let's see. Okay, are you able to see Economic Development Strategic Plan PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started then. So the Economic Development Strategic Plan was developed and informed by several planning agencies. We basically have to look at state, regional, county, and citywide planning documents and policies, as well as the City Council's 30th anniversary vision. We also look at our comprehensive plan, the city budget, community and economic development work plan as well. And they all have to align. And the framework for the plan is focused on alignment with the City Council goals for economic development. So the purpose of the plan is really to advance goal number 1 of the City Council's goals. Also to align our efforts across departments and to guide the work and to have a way or a mechanism in which to track the progress for the work that we do. And other objectives really looking, and the presentation contents really are looking at the market context and what kind of strategies do we want to use in order to further economic development for the City of Lakewood. So this is the Council 30-year anniversary goals, and I'll draw your attention to the 3rd bullet, which is sustained by robust economic development or economic growth and job creation. And breaking that down just a little bit, so to 2021 to 2024 City Council goals, dynamic and robust local economy, which includes an adaptive and growing economy, as well as diversified and resilient economy. As you all know, we do have a very diverse group here and in the city in terms of cultures and so forth, and also one that supports local businesses and residents. So then breaking that goal down further into its parts, 1.1 of the goal is to align economic goals and resources. So we want to attract and preserve family wage jobs and high wage jobs, review prudent incentives that support business as well as the community and direct growth through sound planning. The focus for 1.1 is to focus on wealth generation and encouraging desirable development in our focus areas for development. 1.2 of the goal looks at pursuing infrastructure improvements. So if it were not for the tremendous work and infrastructure improvements that we've already done and continue to do in terms of streets, utilities, and so forth to support projects, we would not be able to do what we are able to do. It also supports some of our catalyst projects, such as the Colonial Plaza Street improvement that was finalized in September of 2019, and also improving underutilized areas within the city and continuing to expand on utilities. Here we focus on advanced planning and attracting investment and looking at placemaking for the community. 1.3 is where we look at the quality and diversity of housing. So for multi-generational community assets, and we look at policies and programs that increase home ownership and preserve existing housing, and to continue to support youth and senior programs, as well as preserving historical culture and our ecological places of significance. The focus for 1.3 is on providing affordable options, as well as attracting middle-income households and encouraging a range of housing types and mixed-use projects. And then 1.4 is focused on key partnerships and collaboration, particularly during the pandemic and in times of great transition and disruption. It's really important to stay in communication with all of our partners and to build partnerships so that we can build a strong community for the future and even add and expand on those partnerships, and also to develop an educated workforce. The focus here is on alignment and building partnerships and leveraging opportunities associated with JBLM. The final point here, 1.5, is to promote and facilitate sustainable development here in the city of Lakewood. This involves business attraction, retention, and expansion, promotion of entrepreneurialism and growing our industries and supporting businesses that the community needs. We leverage and improve city assets, which are continual with all the great work that's being done in the Parks and Recreation Department, in our parks and public works engineering, on the roads and streets, and police department, and really everyone citywide. The focus here is on building a strong brand, as well as retaining and growing small and local businesses, looking at the placemaking and strengthening our identity, attracting future visitors and investment to Lakewood. Part of this plan is looking at what does our market look like? What is the market context? And I'm going to go over a couple of things to look at in order to determine where we are at, where we need to be. The first thing I wanted to talk about under market context is leakage analysis. So leakage analysis is useful in evaluating the performance of an industry within a region or a city. So you can see where the gaps are. And if you have ones across the board in all of the areas, that means we have a very balanced community, or we're providing the goods and services that our residents need. If it's more than one, then more people are coming in to shop here in Lakewood to get those goods and or services. 2019, we call it a pull factor. So our pull factor was 1.2. That means we're bringing in more shoppers and people to experience services and goods here in Lakewood than are leaving to go elsewhere. 2019, the pull factor was 1.4, which means City of Lakewood is becoming more of a retail hub, and we're pulling in more shoppers within Lakewood. We hope to continue to do that over time. We also look at employment. So covered employment just means all those jobs that have coverage with workers' comp or L&I. City of Lakewood had an average increase of 3.1% per year in jobs from 2012 to 2020. As compared to the county at 2.7%, Lakewood did increase their jobs a little bit more than the county overall. Higher increases were represented in construction as well as manufacturing, warehousing, transportation, and utilities, as well as government. So we were impacted by the Great Recession. Recent employment gains have outpaced both Tacoma and the county overall, and we have increased our jobs by about 23% since 2012. So the higher proportion is in government, and just a comment on that, that's primarily due to the fact that we have Western State Hospital, other DSHS agencies, 2 colleges. And so that's one of the reasons why we have a higher proportion of employment in government as compared to the county. But generally, we're fairly balanced throughout. We also look at where do people live and where do they work? So as of 2018, there was about 3,800 people who live and work in Lakewood. About 25,000 are employed in Lakewood but live elsewhere, and about 20,000 live in Lakewood but work elsewhere. So there is an opportunity to help our businesses to expand, to hire more people that may live here, and also bring in new businesses and new opportunities for jobs here in Lakewood. About 13% of Lakewood workers live in Lakewood, and which is lower than Tacoma, but higher than Puyallup and Fife. Here you can see, just by virtue of where we're located, Lakewood does have a lot of opportunities. We're right on I-5 with connections to major transportation networks. Also, our proximity to JBLM, as well as the Port of Tacoma. If you don't know, Washington State is the most trade-dependent state in the union, and Pierce County is the most dependent county within Washington State. So import-export is very important, and our proximity to the port is important in attracting those types of businesses. And then we look at, what are our focus areas to try to attract businesses to or retain businesses. And these are the basic areas highlighted in orange that are our main focus areas, which I'll get into a little bit more in just a couple of minutes. Our strategies are both citywide as well as place-based strategies for the different focus areas that were identified on the map. Our citywide strategies, there are 2. First of all, business retention and expansion. So we reach out to all businesses, not all, we try to get to as many as possible, but we try to reach out to our businesses here on a regular basis. And we visit with at least 100 businesses a year and provide assistance. And then additional outreach is to specific businesses that ask for help with retention, site location, and or expansion assistance. This helps the city to identify barriers and opportunities for businesses here and helps us to be more adaptive and responsive to the changes of our businesses. And the item is that we do a lot of in terms of media and promotion. So we have our Build Your Better Here website, and we also have a tourism website, nearcation.com. And we do a variety of things to try to attract folks to the Lakewood area. And those are our main citywide strategies. And then getting into our focus area strategies, Lakewood historically really hasn't had a true downtown. In 2018, we adopted the sub-area plan, and the downtown is really envisioned to be a rich urban area with civic amenities, mixed uses, walkability, housing, entertainment, restaurants, experiences, et cetera. And so encouraging those uses. It's also what's called a regional center as designated by the Puget Sound Regional Council. And so that's where we think really more of the commercial development will occur in the downtown area. The second area is the Lakeview Kendrick area. So that overlaps our Lakewood Station District area. The reason I call that one out is that it is also what's called an opportunity zone. Opportunity zone is an area that affords tax relief to investors by deferring capital gains taxes. And we have 3 such areas. They are the Lakeview Kendrick, the Springbrook area, and then the Woodbrook Tillicum area. And we do have about a 10-acre redevelopment project, primarily residential, and a number of residential projects underway in the Lakeview Kendrick area. And then next, just touching on the Lakewood Station District sub-area, which was adopted in 2021. That's another area that we're focused on redevelopment due to its location right on Pacific Highway. Still remains some underutilized properties. And one such project we've been working on for quite a number of years is about a 30-acre redevelopment on Pac Highway. And we continue to work on that project and other Lakewood Station District sub-area projects going forward. And again, it's you can refer to the sub-area plan for more information on that. It is a transit-oriented commercial area primarily, which means that it allows for both residential and commercial development and a variety of uses. The next area I'll touch on is the International District. We did do outreach to the area a few years back. The folks that live and work around that area have told us that they would like to see some improvement in streetscapes, placemaking, and it's obviously a culturally diverse commercial district and actually a destination for grocery, office, retail, and restaurants. It's one of our retail trade areas. The other 2 are the downtown and Pacific Highway are within the Lakewood Station District. With a focus on small business retention and expansion in the International District. The next area is the North Clear Zone. Just touching on that briefly, that's an area where some encroachment has occurred over time. It's at the end of the McCord Air Field, and it's what's called an accident potential area. So The city is working to purchase land owned by companies in the area and help them to relocate to other areas. The reason for that is with encroachment, it does inhibit emissions on the base, and we want to protect that asset and help JBLM to continue their operations. So the work there is long, difficult, but we continue to work in that area as well. The next area is Springbrook. City has invested quite a bit of money into streets, utilities, and parks, of course, as you all know. Neighborhood primarily consisting of multifamily. However, there is some additional industrial. It also provides a gateway to JBLM. And looking at environmental concerns, the majority of Springbrook is in a floodplain. And so looking at ways to mitigate the environmental issues that remain in Springbrook. The next area is Woodbrook. There's a new Woodbrook Business Park. It's 188 acres. There's about 2 million square feet of industrial, either already built, under construction, or in permitting in that area alone. And there is, as you probably know, there's been a lot of demand for warehousing and transportation, some manufacturing due to, as I mentioned before, the need for importing, exporting, and movement of goods and just-in-time delivery, such as Amazon offers to the community and surrounding area. And then Tillicum, we are promoting redevelopment of this area and improving the quality of life for the neighborhood, working with Habitat for Humanity on continuing to build homes in that area. The city has invested over 25 million in sewer, streets, and public safety. And we are taking kind of a relook at the Tillicum plan that was adopted in 2011 to see if there's any adjustments that need to be made to that plan. And then finally, Lake City. This represents an opportunity for additional retail and services in the business district area. It is right next to American Lake. So I feel like there is opportunity to have more services for that community, as well as for those that enjoy American Lake and come to visit the park. That before I conclude, mention that we are seeking review and comments from boards and commissions such as yourself and the executive leadership team. Within the actual plan, there are specific action items as well as implementation areas and budget considerations. And once we get feedback from you all, we intend to go to City Council sometime late spring 2022. And we welcome your feedback. I believe that you've already received a copy of the plan, but if not, you will receive it. And we would like to get feedback from you by the end of April. And with that, I will stop sharing and happy to answer any immediate questions you have or comments. And if not, as I said, take some time to review and provide as much feedback as you like. Robin, I see your hand up. I believe you're muted.
Oh, you're on mute, Robin. Robin, you're on mute.
Sorry, I had a lot of dogs in the background. Becky, I wanted to thank you so much. I didn't realize all spread out like that. It was just very informative, and it was just wonderful to see the growth in many areas in our community. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, well, if no one has a question for Becky. Becky, thank you so very much for making this presentation to us today. There's quite a bit of information in our packets here, and certainly you'll have the opportunity to digest it a little bit more later and give you some feedback that you've requested. So thank you so much for coming today.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Certainly. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Everyone.
Becky. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Becky. Okay, so moving on. So, having reviewed the minutes for both the last Arts Commission meeting and the March 24th Public Arts Subcommittee meeting, if there are no additions or corrections, could I get a motion to approve those minutes, please?
I'll approve those minutes.
Okay, and a second? There we go. I think we have one from Susan. All in favor? Aye. Excellent.
Aye.
Okay. So, unfinished business, Public Art Committee reports. So, do we have a designated person for that?
Well, I'll touch base on the Gateway Arc. March was our community engagement piece, and it happened quite quickly. I know our communications director was like, well, next time tell me a little in advance. I was like, well, I didn't know a little in advance. It was kind of this dialogue with John Fleming, the artist, and this idea of just not having a lot of events because of COVID, and how are we going to do the community engagement piece. Usually he's out there in schools or with kids or at events interacting with people. And thanks to many members here, we went out, and we did go out in the community. We went to Lewis. So Lonnie and Earl and Linda were all at, you were there too, right? At Lewis, Asia Pacific. And Emily, yes, thank you. And at the Asia Pacific Cultural Center's event. And then I went to Harrison Craft. Earl presented at Lakewood Rotary. And Robin went to Harrison Craft. Am I forgetting any? And then Jim.
Did you go to Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, Robin went to Boys and Girls Club. And then Jim and Communications put together a thing on the website where people could submit quotes. And so that all just wrapped up. We have a few trickling in from some schools, but he's very happy. So he has enough quotes.
Oh, nice.
And he's moving on to the manufacturing phase.
Approximately how many, Sally, do you know came
You
in?
know, that's a good question. I would guess we're close to.
Oh, excellent.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Mhm.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So anything more with regard to the Gateway Arc? In terms of fabrication, in
Yeah,
terms of
so,
anticipated timeline?
Yeah, he's working on that right now. And then our city attorney, Heidi, is working on the easement. So there's that piece. But I think
We're gonna have like sort of event.
oh, and so I
Debut it?
told the artists the events that we have the street festival, and that we have one in August and one in September, and to plan the unveiling. Yeah, both to be realistic.
Okay, that's
Oh,
perfect.
excellent.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
uplighting gonna be done too? The tree uplighting? That's a good question.
I think that's pretty important that would need to be done
Oh, the lighting.
also for that.
Okay, I'll make a note because of.
Yeah.
Okay, so signal box wraps. Do you have anything to add?
Not
There,
too
Earl?
much, I mean.
We've got you can speak to it, but,
Oh, well, perfect.
Nikki will pull it up, because
Because we just had we had a subcommission, I mean, our subcommission meeting.
So this lists the streets and then each shows. So what you maybe should.
You wanna look at the art first?
Well, so we have 6 locations that
Yeah.
we're working on, and, 2 artists. Do you wanna?
Mauricio Robolino, and then Rosa Cruz again, and, because she's been doing great so far. So I think the first one is Mauricio, right?
Why don't you go ahead? And maybe you could say,
This is Artist Paint Dog.
So we had a subcommittee meeting, and
Uh-huh.
these were decided upon at that meeting. Awesome.
I love the color. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
bright,
Everything
it
about
just
it is
pops. That's
So
just
he's a
lovely.
Latino artist, and we had discussed, having that population represented. So he definitely fits the bill.
Hey, Yo, a lot of interesting works.
One where you went back and asked him to revise something,
No, this is a new artist.
a new one.
Oh, my.
Love it.
That's
King
interesting.
of Hearts.
Mm-hmm. Flute player.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very nice.
Maybe you want to come down to Oakland and grab it.
Hmm?
Or, well, you know how to put these.
Yeah, but I'm not sure which one we put where.
Well, that was at the top, but maybe you can say how.
Oh, okay.
I'll just generalize it, maybe.
Oh, I love
This
This is Rosa Cruz, is it correct?
the name stuff above it, the biodiversity of Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a real song?
No, that was a question.
Yeah, I asked that same thing too.
Yeah. Great minds think
It can't be
alike.
now. Send it back.
Oh, echinacea, I love that.
Sunflowers. So maybe now you could scroll to the top again, and you can speak to why we chose those locations.
God, I can't remember why
So
we
decided
like
to make them all
actually.
centralized, remember?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we decided on doing the core of Lakewood, kind of get this project a little bit more of a focus within the community, rather than putting one here and putting one there and kind of spreading it all out. So we thought it would be kind of fun to actually, do the main core of Lakewood that's heavily traversed by our citizens on a daily basis. And so we're going to be doing Gravely Lake Drive and 100th, Gravely Lake Drive and Mount Tacoma, Bridgeport and Custer Road, Gravely Lake and 112th, Gravely Lake and Main Street, and then Gravely Lake and Bridgeport as well. So those are going to be the next boxes that are going to be wrapped. And as far as why we chose which one for which piece of art for which box, was just kind of some of them had a methodology and some of them were just kind of random.
It'll make a big impact, though, to have, a collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all double boxes, so the artwork will be on the big
On
box
both
and the little box.
Oh, excellent.
And I was at Roby's last night, and I was talking to Christine, and she was one of the artists that did the Mount Rainier, and she did the Blue Heron. And it was really neat to get a very first-hand account from an artist and how appreciative that she was about she just felt honored to see her art and just to be able to drive in the community, and she just almost brought her to tears. And it was, it was really kind of cool to actually get that first-hand interaction with that artist.
Yeah.
So.
And Mauricio, I think his artwork is just phenomenal. And
Yeah.
he said, it's been a dream of mine to be on a signal box. And I'm thinking, well, we've chosen you for 4.
Oh, goodness me.
So what do you all think that weren't in the subcommittee meeting? Do you like the artwork? Oh, the internet's been going out from the storm.
Way to go, Nikki.
I just wanted to, if I can pipe in, I just wanted to say, I just love it. I have had the thoughts and feelings driving around how proud I am to see that work. And it's really good, colorful projects. And I'm very excited about the art, the visual art. Thank you for all your work.
That was Paige.
Well, we're thinking that due to the storm, that's why we're experiencing an interruption with regards to our video.
Yeah, we can't see any of you right now.
But I guess we can hear everybody.
But if you can hear us, that's great, because we can certainly hear you. Okay?
So I talked to the print shop today, and they said they should have these up in a couple weeks, they're just
Wow, that's
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. That is wonderful.
And you know what, Sally, one of the ones that go up next, I would like to actually, I just want to see it. If you could let me know, because I think it'd be fun to see.
Oh, when they're installing it?
Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah,
They send me a notice for
process.
like almost like a meeting notice for the installation date, and so, yeah, and Jim, our communications manager, can't get up to all of them, so it'd be great to,
Oh, I think that'd be
Go out
really
and
nice.
see.
I don't do that too.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how they apply this. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be like.
They stick it on there.
Hey,
And then they burn it.
I'm sure there's an art to
Very
it, Patty.
Patty and I've hung some vinyl right now.
Burnish it.
Okay. Well, moving on, Performing Arts Committee, Real Life 96 recap. Okay. So, as most of you know, we had our screening gala on March 19th at the McGavitt Conference Center. We had 462 people in attendance at the event. It could be give or take a little, and the reason why I say that is because 462 people are the people who voted for the Audience Choice Award.
Oh, interesting.
Okay? That was what we were able to capture in terms of like hard data, okay? That doesn't mean that there aren't people who showed up who didn't vote, or people who were in and out, or what have you, but 462 people actually voted. We gave out $2,500 in cash prizes and many more medals and certificates. We had a great cast of volunteers. Many of you are sitting in the comfort of your own homes in this Zoom meeting right now, and we wouldn't have been ready on the day to make sure that everything moved seamlessly if you hadn't been there to help. So, Robin, thank you. Daryl, thank you. Paige, thank you. And Earl, thank you. Sylvia, thank you. I'm just trying to think if I'm not looking at your pictures, so forgive me here. And not least of all, Lonnie, who was just such an amazing help on the day, and certainly on the very many days leading up to that event as well. So I think a fun time was had by all, and we're looking right now, we're rather on the 7th in terms of what we want to do moving forward.
and on that note, whoever was there and whoever volunteered, can everyone hear me?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Still there?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Oh, if you were at the event or volunteering, please send me any bullet points of what you think works well and what could be improved. We're going to have a debrief on Thursday, and I'd love everyone's feedback and having to,
Was there any feedback from, like, some of the people that actually entered them, you know, some of the movie and or some of the guests or something like that?
We got a tremendous amount of information from folks who just said, wow, this is great. We had a wonderful experience.
Oh, nice.
People were,
amazing.
yeah, we got a lot of really great feedback. And, what did Bob Warfield say? He made me proud to live in and love Lakewood. I thought that was really inspiring when he said that. I thought that was really nice.
We had a team that actually mailed in a thank you card. You know, people really don't do that.
No,
So congratulations, Linda, on amazing.
Very much.
Yeah, exactly. I told you 5,000 times, and I guess there you go. Way to go.
It got really good feedback from everybody I spoke with. Yeah.
And the council, right after, you got a lot of props on council comments. Everybody thanked you and loved it. I know it's at the very end of a council meeting, but still, I know so there's a lot of council support on that.
Oh, well, that's nice to hear. Thanks, Betty. So, yeah, it was an exciting event, and it was fun, and it's going to be interesting to see how it evolves over
By the way,
place.
I've got a wagon full of washes, folded tablecloths.
Oh,
Before I forget.
yeah, there you go, there you go. And hopefully we've got those carpet rolls.
I still have the towels, yeah.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
that's excellent.
Yeah, I don't wanna get rid of those yet. We gotta
Okay.
figure that out.
Too much.
So we have, I don't believe we have anything else at this time. Does anyone here have anything for the good of the order, or anyone online?
I would like to say our next big event is our May 21st event, just so everyone has dancing in the street on their calendar. We only have one more meeting before that event.
Okay. So are you
So
gonna?
we should have a subcommittee meeting of performing arts and kind of a combo subcommittee meeting. Because events are under both of those categories, committees, so we should definitely meet before the next meeting.
So are we gonna need to send out a call for volunteers to
Yeah.
to assist with that? Okay, all righty. So our, in advance of the Dancing in the Street, event at, Colonial Plaza, we do have our next Arts Commission meeting May 2nd, at 5 o'clock. That will also be either an in-person meeting or via Zoom. And until then, take care, stay healthy, stay safe, and thank you for joining us on the call.
Thank
Night,
you, guys.
everybody.
Thank
Thank you. So
Okay.
proud to be part of your group.
Yeah.
So proud.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye now.
Good night, everyone.